Hi guys, so what I've got in front of me today is a very basic Synthwave FLP project folder here. This has been made on 12.0.1. I do use an older version just because I prefer it to some of the new tweaks I've made in the newer versions. But anyway, this is a Synthwave project file here. Anyone's really wanting to get into Synthwave, this would be a great point just to have a look at this and dissect this and just see what the sounds and stuff are used. So we've got your 80s drum style here, and then we've got obviously the synths, the pads, and the arps, bells, and everything like that. And then we've got a little bit of FX at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly play through the track, and then I'll explain what I've done on the actual mixer here, what I've done to the sounds, and then feel free to download it and play around with it yourself. So in this section we're going to look at the drums and what I've done to the drums in the track. First of all though, I'm going to quickly check here through the master settings, what I've got on the master channel. Generally I wouldn't use stock FL plugins for this, I would use third party ones, but for the sake of the tutorial I can stick with FL to make it easier. So compressor, very light compression there, ratio of 2, -7 dB, a little bit of gain, fast attack, fast release, and then type just gone for vintage. EQ, cutting off all the lows under 40, and a little boost on around 7,000 there, and then a limiter. The limiter is just a basic preset, just max loudness, and then a dB meter. I just use that for when I'm checking levels and stuff on the tracks. So we'll start with the kick first of all. So it's just a basic kick. No effects on there at all, just straight in, no effects. And then a snare. So we have two snares. We have this kind of synthy snare, and then an 80s style snare. Okay, so on the synthy snare, all we have is a basic bit of EQ, boosting it around 13,000 there, and then both snares are routed to a snare bus. To do that, simply click on whatever you want to route, and then select the channel you want to route to, and then route to this channel. So then now this snare channel won't play itself, it will route to this channel and it will play through channel 18. See that? So what we've done there, and this is obviously good for adding individual adjustments like I've done here. This first snare I've added EQ, didn't want to add EQ to the second snare. So then we just route this into the, now it is route to this track only. If you route to this track, it'll play through both tracks. So I'll show you. So it's playing through 3 different tracks there, which obviously you don't want. So we'll then right click, route to this track only. So it's only going to route to this track now, and it won't play on its own channel. Okay, and then the second snare, again routes to this, and then on the snare bus we just have a bit of reverb. Now the reverb is just a basic, just when it loads up, it's the standard default setting, and just made it a little bit wetter. Hi-hats, very basic pattern, 8s, and on the hi-hats nothing, just totally dry. And then the rim shot, now on the rim shot what we've got is the rim shot panned quite a lot to the right. It was very dry, so what we did is added a stereo enhancer and just made it completely mono, and that puts it back into the centre. And then reverb, so reverb again, default setting, just made it a little bit bigger, a little in size, and made it a little bit wetter, and then added some delay. Now for this, what I did is just presets, stereo effect, turn that up to 4, turn the cut off down a little, and then we just brought it down to about 25%. EQ, cut to lows, cut a little bit of high, and then boosted around 720. So then together the drums sound like this. Okay, so what I've also released is like a mini drum sample pack. I'll put the link in the description. If you want to head over and get that for free, you can do that now. And then in the next part, we'll look at the synths. Okay, so in this part, we're going to look at the synths in the track. Now, all the synths are made from Sylinth. Now, I do have a Sylinth bank. Do have a synthwave bank available to you. I will put a link in the description again. You can head on over and check that out. Okay, so let's start with the bass first of all. This is just simple 16ths. And then we'll go through what we've got on this. So multi-band compression, what this is doing, it's boosting the lows and a little tiny bit of the mids. So without and with, and then what we've done then, EQ boosts a little bit of the highs. So without first of all, and then with, and then we've got a growth speed for the sidechain. Now the sidechain here is only about 30%, so if we play it, and it's down to just 30%. Now what we've also done on this as well, we've actually automated the sidechain, which is here. So what we've done is, to automate the sidechain, we've just right clicked on here and then create sidechain clip, and that's pasted that in there. Okay, so what that means, when this is at 0, it means obviously there's no sidechain at all. When it's at full, it means the sidechain's working. So what we'll do is, just to show you, I'll just turn this up full so you can hear the effects of it. And then, so when it's down, it's off, and when it's up full, it's back on again. But what we've done, as like I say, we've just got this at 30%. It's just a very, very light sidechain we've got on it. Okay, then after that we've got the pads. Just very dreamy sort of style pads. What we've done for this is just an EQ. Cut a little of the lows off, or lowered the level of lows, and obviously raised the highs quite a bit there. So without, then with, just gives it a little bit more presence on the high end. There's very, very little high end action going on there, but it just makes it cut through a little bit better, and obviously we've made it not as muddy by lowering them. And then what we've got then is the ARP style, which is like a bell sound. You find it's quite a lot on synthwave, is they'll pick maybe 3 or 4 notes and they'll repeat them, so they'll have like a pedal riff that goes right throughout the track. That gives it sort of the sort of style. Now this is a bell sort of sound, like a mallet sound. And then we're controlling the volume here. So to control the volume, what I've done, well first of all I've had an EQ, cut the lows, boost it around for 3500. I've got a stereo enhancer, just a little bit of stereo width there, but what this is mainly for is this, so we've right clicked on that, create automation clip, and that lets us control the volume of the bells coming up. And then again, just on the end, reverb, basic reverb with made slightly wetter. And then after that we have the lead. So this is the lead sound. Again, all these sounds are part of the silence bank that's available. So it's just a brass sound, EQ, cut the lows, boosted around 2000 and boosted again around 8000 there. And again, reverb made a little bit bigger, and then it's not as wet. And so without the effects. And then with the EQ. And then the reverb. Okay, and after that we have this sort of stringy sound. Again, just 2 or 3 notes playing over and over. And all I've got on this is a bit of reverb again, size up quite a bit and quite very, very wet. And then last we have this sort of pad sound. Again, totally dry, no processing, sorry, just a gross beat again, very, very slight, 20% sidechain on there, just to give it a little bit of rhythm. And then on the actual thing itself, it is quite reverbing, quite a lot of delay in it. Okay, so that's all that the synths we've run through there. What we'll look at next is just a little bit of FX that we've got added in there as well. Okay, so the final part of this is just a few little hits and FX in there, just to give it a bit of a transition. What we've got first of all is a crash. It's quite a long crash. And then we have a reverse crash. This is what's this is. It's just a reverse crash. You can even check that and reverse it. And then with a bit of delay on it. And then I've mixed it down because I do use this in quite a lot of my tracks. And then just a tom fill. So this is 3 different toms, one panning left, one panning right, and then one in the centre. That's basically it. There is no FX at all on them. Again, they're all just routed into the master bus. So that's basically it, really. That's the full tutorial. I do have other tutorial stuff available on my channel, which you can check out. And I'm also going to be doing some more stuff like this, basic tutorials in different genres. Got a Melbourne house one coming up, and also doing a tropical house one as well. If there's any genres or anything that you want me to have a look at, then I'll leave it in the comments, and I'll definitely have a look at it for you. And I hope this has helped. Thanks very much for watching.